Welcome to Navigating AI with Apex Blue. I'm Lyric, and today we're building a playbook that could save your business from one late shipment, one surprise minimum, one misread lead time. Picture this: a founder 2 nights before a big launch getting the call that a critical part won't arrive, and suddenly your production line is a panic room. I've been there. My stomach dropped, customers started messaging, and we were negotiating air freight at midnight. Let's make this irresistible. What if you had 3 simple signals and a human-first plan that cuts that panic off at the pass?
That image hits hard. I can feel the adrenaline, and also the cost. Late shipments are not just logistics problems. They break trust with customers. Let's streamline this. Today, we give owners concrete steps to detect trouble early and act without blowing budget or relationships.
Pattern detected. Supply surprises are predictable if you watch the right signals. We'll focus on minimal, privacy-safe indicators, lead time variance, invoice cadence shifts, recurring exception flags, and public status changes. These are signals you can monitor without complex contracts or heavy data engineering.
And architecting the fix is doable with scrappy tooling. You don't need a full procurement stack. A few scheduled scrapes, an email pattern detector, and a webhook to flag anomalies will get you 80% of the protection for a fraction of the cost. Precision wins, and we'll walk through how.
All right, outline for the episode. I'll open with a founder story and give you scripts you can use on a vendor call. Nova will define the signals and escalation rules. Stryker will explain the scrappy technical recipes. Pulse will lay out a 14-day pilot you can run this week. Then we'll role-play a live outreach and close with 3 actions you can take immediately. Creativity unlocked. Let's get started. Hook, Part 2. The founder story. We were a small team, a holiday launch, 10,000 pre-orders on the line. 2 days out, vendor says, "We're out of a die-cut piece. Lead time now, 2 weeks." My first breath was pure panic, but the second breath was a call we should have made earlier. So I called them not to accuse, but to understand. I asked what changed, what options, and what's needed to move a small priority run. The tone saved us. That human-first call bought time and a partial run, and we kept the launch promise.
That's the key: tone and timing. You don't have to be adversarial to extract practical options. The playbook makes that first call routine, not emergency only. We want standard triggers that prompt outreach before the panic phase.
Let's dive into the minimal signals. First, lead time variance. Track the average lead time per SKU over the last 6 shipments and set a conservative threshold, say 30% deviation, that prompts review. Second, invoice cadence shifts. If invoices arrive earlier or later than the pattern by a set margin, that can mean material shortages or schedule compression. Third, recurring exceptions. If the same vendor raises a one-off change request more than twice in a quarter, that's a pattern, not an accident. Fourth, public status changes. Supplier notices, social posts, or platform flags. Combine those signals. 1 alone is noise. 2 is worth a human check.
Operationalizing that without over-automation, build a lightweight monitor. Use a shared sheet with columns for SKU, expected lead time, actual lead time, invoice date, and exception count. Schedule a nightly scrape of supplier lead time pages or your purchase history. Then compute moving averages. If the moving average deviates beyond your threshold, send a low noise alert to a human inbox, not a team-wide alarm. That's deploying now without bureaucracy.
Pause for a moment. Nova, when do we escalate versus when do we just human review? I don't want teams acting on every blip.
Great question. Conservative escalation rules. Treat AI outputs as signal, not decision. For anything below a financial threshold, pick a number relevant to your margins. Assign a human review. Escalate only if 2 conditions are met: signal confidence, 2 or more signals aligning, and impact threshold. Expected delay or cost exceeds your predefined limit. Log the rationale before any supplier change. That prevents knee-jerk reactions and gives you an audit trail.
And make those thresholds visible in your SOPs. Who gets the alert? Who has authority to approve an alternate? How much emergency spend is allowed without higher approval? Set those now so the team doesn't invent rules in the heat of a pause.
On the technical side, minimize sensitive data handling. Redact PII before ingesting invoices into any monitor. Use ephemeral enrichment. Pull public company data for company-level signals, but never store full supplier invoices in an open system. Keep your monitoring outputs in access-controlled sheets and rotate access tokens regularly. Latency eliminated is good, but privacy and compliance are non-negotiable.
Okay, now the scripts. I promised vendor language that preserves relationships. I want you to hear a simple opening line you can use right away. Hi, I'm checking in on our upcoming run of SKU. I'm hearing a few changes in lead times and wanted to understand what shifted and how we can work together to keep our delivery commitments. That soft start signals concern, not accusation, and invites problem solving.
Follow that with 3 focused questions. What changed? What are immediate short-term workarounds? And what do you need from us to prioritize a small run? Keep it brief and collaborative. You want clarity, not conflict.
Also, ask about dependencies. Are they waiting on a sub-supplier? Is there a minimum order change we should know about? Those answers tell you whether the issue is isolated or systemic. If it's systemic, escalate internally. If it's isolated, negotiate a small priority run or partial shipment.
If you do need to negotiate a small run, have a rapid contract template ready, short-term price, clear lead time, and a simple clause about acceptance of the trial. Keep legal review lightweight. A 1-paragraph addendum is often enough for a short-term fix. Architecting the fix at the contract level prevents ambiguity later.
Let's give listeners a ready-to-send email. Hi, name. Quick check. We're monitoring lead times for blank and noticed a recent shift. Can you confirm current lead time, any constraints, and whether a small priority run is possible? We're happy to cover expedited costs if that helps. Appreciate your candor. We value our partnership. That line keeps it human and leaves room for negotiation. Humans love this stuff when it sounds real and respectful.
And pair that with a brief internal checklist: who to CC, when to escalate to procurement lead, and who approves emergency spend. Make that no more than 3 bullets, so it's easy to follow under stress.
Time for scrappy monitoring recipes. Start with a scheduled sheet scrape. Export purchase order history nightly into a controlled Google Sheet or CSV. Compute moving averages for lead time and invoice cadence. Then add an email pattern detector. Simple regex rules that flag phrases like delayed due to or backorder in inbound supplier emails. Hook those flags into a private Slack or email inbox for human review.
Concrete implementation. Use 2 cron jobs. One pulls public lead time pages or vendor portals and writes deltas to your sheet. The other scans inbound email headers and bodies for pattern matches. For low-budget teams, a no-code tool plus a Google Apps script is enough. Keep enrichment ephemeral. When you call an external API for supplier firmographics, don't store the raw response longer than needed. Parse and store only the field you require, then throw the rest away. That's how you get signal without creating a data liability.
Stryker, can you explain an alternate supplier discovery flow we can run without shaky scraped results leading us into worse trouble?
Yes, start narrow. For a SKU you care about, search public marketplaces, supplier directories, and LinkedIn supplier pages for the manufacturing capability needed. Create a short verification checklist: minimum order, lead time, certifications, and whether they accept a test order. Don't onboard a replacement based on a single scraped listing. Require a one-off test order and a basic contract check. That mitigates the risk of unsuitable alternates.
And log every alternate search result. Keep a record of why you rejected or accepted a vendor. That history reduces the risk of repeating bad choices and helps you learn patterns across suppliers.
Now, the pilot. Run a 14-day resilience sprint. Day 0. Pick 3 to 10 SKUs or your top risk suppliers. Assigned owners. Who monitors alerts? Who runs outreach? Who approves spend? Day 1 through 3. Set up sheet scrapes, email pattern detectors, and the alert inbox. Day 4 through 10. Test the outreach scripts and run one alternate supplier discovery. Day 11 through 14, measure KPIs and decide next steps.
KPIs to watch: on-time delivery rate, emergency spend avoided, and time to respond for supplier issues. Pulse: what are reasonable targets for a small team in that pilot?
Reasonable targets: improve on-time delivery by 5 to 10 percentage points for the pilot SKUs. Reduce emergency spend by 20% compared to your last similar disruption. And aim for a median time to respond of under 24 hours for flagged signals. Those are measurable wins that justify keeping the playbook.
Remember mitigation. False positives will happen. Require human review before triggering orders or switching suppliers. Redact PII before ingestion. And keep the pilot small to validate alternates with test orders and quick legal checks. That reduces risk and builds confidence in the system.
One last technical tip. Instrument everything with a change log. Every time you contact a supplier, change terms, or add an alternate, log the reason and the evidence that triggered the action. If a decision later needs auditing, you'll be glad you recorded the chain of events.
All right, team, time for the live role play. Scenario: Nova, tell us the signals that just fired.
Pattern detected. For SKU 452, lead time moving average increased from 10 to 16 days over 3 shipments. Invoice cadence moved 2 days earlier, and the supplier posted a notice on their portal about capacity impacts yesterday. 2 signals plus a public notice. That's a human review trigger.
On the monitor, that looks like a 60% deviation and an email flag. I'd surface the alert to the operations inbox with the vendor's contact and the last 3 POs. Deploying now, and outreach should go within business hours.
Okay, I'll be on the call. I'll start. Hi, Mara. Thanks for taking a quick call. We're watching lead times for SKU 452 and noticed a shift. Can you help me understand what changed and whether a small priority run is possible? We're prepared to cover reasonable expedite costs.
If Mara says it's a sub-supplier shortage, follow with, what would a partial shipment timeline look like? And is there anything we can do on our side to help prioritize? Also, who should we follow up with if we need a decision within 48 hours? Get names and timelines.
If they can't commit, request a formal written notice and a proposed mitigation timeline. That written note becomes your data point for escalation and for any emergency purchasing decisions.
And while you're on the call, kick off a parallel alternate search. Use your cheat sheet to confirm minimums, lead times, and whether they accept test orders. Don't onboard until you've verified with a small paid test.
Nice. Now we close with the 3 immediate plays listeners can run this week. Ready? 1. Set up a single nightly sheet that computes moving average lead time for your top 3 SKUs and flags a 30% deviation. 2. Send the vendor check email we read earlier to one high-risk supplier this week. 3. Run one alternate supplier quick search and place a small test order if a promising candidate appears.
Those 3 moves are low cost but high impact. If you do just these, you'll reduce surprise risk and have a repeatable routine to scale.
And remember the safeguards. Keep humans in the loop for decisions above your impact threshold. Redact PII and pilot on a small set of SKUs. Clarity achieved. Conservative, auditable procedures protect relationships and margins.
Architecting the fix in this way gives you control without a massive build. That's a solvable bottleneck. You can be proactive with modest tooling and clear rules.
Before we sign off, if you want the templates, the monitoring sheet, the outreach email, the pilot checklist, and prompt packs for simple monitors, head to apexblue.com/supplier-resilience. We've put the exact scripts and a redaction checklist there so you can start in 14 days or less. And remember, let's make it irresistible. Approach your suppliers with curiosity, not accusation. This needs sparkle, but it also needs process.
Run the 14-day sprint. Measure those KPIs and iterate. Systems never sleep. Set yours up so they protect your customers and your margins.
Pattern detected. When teams use conservative signals and human review, they reduce false positives and build durable processes. Efficiency is inevitable when you design for it.
Architecting the fix, deploying now, and instrumenting decisions will save time and stress. Precision wins. Start small, iterate, and scale.
Thanks for joining us on Navigating AI with Apex Blue. Visit apexblue.com/supplier resilience for the playbook and templates. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay ahead.